Hello, I'm Sarah Hercod, the area SENDCo from the Early Years Southwest Stronger Practice Hub, and I'm here to do a short and sweet session on sustaining positive relationships in our settings with the little ones that we work with. I just wanted to start by highlighting how relationship skills sit across everything we do, don't they? From collaboration and turn taking to shared problem solving, sharing attention, listening, responding, using our first language as the foundation of our relationships. If you think about the children who have English as an additional language, or our children who are deaf or autistic, who have delayed development of language because of their additional needs, their ability to sustain positive relationships is affected by that, isn't it? Having a voice means that you can share your thoughts. You can be respectful towards other people. You can expect people to respect you back. And I think what we're talking about today is about confidence and collaboration. So sustaining relationships isn't something that we add on to what we do. It runs through everything that we do. Language is our route into cooperation, assertiveness, and conflict resolution, which are all the key skills in sustaining positive relationships. I'm sure you would agree. And you know that children can't use language that they haven't been taught, so that's our role. Very quickly, there is a summary to go with this particular strand from the evidence store. If you're interested, you can follow the QR link here. Let's have a quick look at what the evidence says. So the key messages are that sustaining positive relationships has a positive impact on social skills and understanding emotions. Problem solving together helps with the social skills, and language skills are important. So if you think about role playing, turn taking games, sharing goals, there's lots of outdoor opportunities here, isn't there? And this cardboard maze is a great example of a little one solving problems with an adult, taking turns, understanding their emotions of, can they find the adult by going through the maze? Do they have to open a piece of cardboard on the top and peekaboo? So there's a lot of great practice in just having a ton of cardboard boxes and creating a maze. So in practice, we've got positive interactions, which are expressing yourself, resolving conflict, choosing your responses, collaboration, taking responsibility, and having agency, which is ownership, and your own understanding your own decisions and choices is your agency. So to do this, what we're doing is we're helping children to think deeply about the things that happen to them and the things that they make happen to other people. We are asking children to consider that what do they need, or what do they need to happen to be able to change their own or someone else's response during times of conflict, which we see quite a lot of, don't we, in the early years. We'll be modelling and explaining strategies that the child can use. And there's a great word used on the early years evidence store called an event horizon, which is basically the point of no return. We see that a lot, don't we, as our little ones are trying to work out how to make and sustain relationships. So we want children to understand that their behaviour has an impact on somebody else's response. We're teaching children in these practices how to decide for themselves how to respond in the moment, and we're working towards just giving them a prompt, because that's what gives them the agency and the freedom to make the decisions for themselves. But to get to that point of just being able to give them a prompt, we need to give them scaffolded scripts. We need to step in. We need to set up, we need to slip away. There's a lot to do before the child can respond to perhaps just a look or a nudge from us. They need a lot of physical space to practice these skills, and open-ended resources and activities that promote interaction. So popping them in the middle of a spider web made of wool is a great one. They're stuck. They're going to have to use their cognition and their language to work out how to move around that space, aren't they? If we intentionally organise our environments to create a sense of community, where children contribute and can see others doing it too, then this also is a great evidence-based piece of practice that you can use. And I thought that this wool web was quite a good example here because it's nicely controlled, isn't it? So it's not a free-for-all. Everybody's taking turns to step inside the web and pop up somewhere and then work out how to get back again. I have set this up as a childminder in my home. I only had 2 children at that particular point in time, and I just tied wool between bits of furniture so that when the children arrived in the morning, they had to work out how to get to the toys. That worked because there were only a couple of children, and obviously the adult to child ratio was really high. So yeah, I wouldn't recommend setting this up as a free-for-all in your nurseries, but this is a lovely little controlled opportunity to practice something really difficult, but with the support of other people. And here the practitioner will be able to explicitly show the children how you listen and how you show respect to others and how you act on reasonable requests from others and how you perhaps wouldn't act if a request is unreasonable. So if you remember, if you've been to any of the PSED sessions so far, I've talked about a golden thread of effective interventions. So there's 3 things that I've talked about a lot are book sharing with children to open up a world of curiosity and exploration that's safe for them around this. So have a think about some books that might support children to express themselves, might show children how other characters have resolved conflict, might explore choices, collaboration, taking responsibility, and the freedom to make your own choices. So that's one of the strands in our golden thread of effective early interventions, book sharing. Then we've also got planned opportunities to practice these skills in play with the scaffolded scripts from an adult, like stop, or no thank you, or my turn, your turn. And that's what this adult is possibly, hopefully doing here with this spider web. And then we've got the adult modelling that comes through the continuous provision, so the opportunities for children to practice with adult support and adult modelling and even more capable peers. So, you know, there's really strong evidence for putting 2-year-olds in with 3 and 4-year-olds for that very reason, that the 2-year-olds come on really nicely because they've got the older children modelling for them. So what does sustaining relationships actually look like in practice? Now, I'm sure we could come into any of your settings, take a quick video and see some excellent practice of how you're doing it. However, we don't have the time and resources to do that. So we've got 3 sessions that we're going to have a look at today that are available for us on the Early Years Evidence Store. We've got songs and rhymes with Jenny and some 2 and 3-year-olds. We've got, in the middle, we've got rocket engines and boosters with Rebecca and some 3 and 4-year-olds. And then we've got pirate shipbuilding with Becky, who's a childminder, and her 4-year-olds. And we're just going to look at the progression of one of these sustaining positive relationship skills. So we're just going to look at expressing needs today. And then we're going to have a think about the practices that we've seen in each video. So bear with me. Well, as usual, I navigate between sharing my screens, which if you've been on these sessions before, you will know is never easy for me. Okay, hopefully you can now see teaching how to share, how to sustain positive relationships. Make sure I'm sharing my sound for you. Let's have a look at these activities. So we're going to start with the little ones and we'll look at what Jenny and Stella are doing to teach and model positive relationships with a small group. And we're going to go into the section of that one where Jenny expresses another child's needs to avoid a potential source of conflict.
Could you sit here for me, sweetheart, just so Avery can see? Avery can't see the page. There we go.
I'm just going to turn my volume up a bit for you. So hopefully you all spotted there that Jenny asked the little child to move so that other children could see the page. And that's helping those other children eventually to advocate for themselves, to say, please can you move because I can't see the page. Okay, let's watch how Rebecca scaffolds a potential problem in the construction of rockets and, is it pirate ships?
Okay, well, look, I've still got Billy's block here. Oh dear, what happened then?
Sorry, Billy.
Oh, Billy, look at Jess. Jess
Sorry,
is saying sorry, Billy. Is that okay, Billy? Do you accept Jessica's
What?
apology?
What?
Yeah, I think he's fine, Jess.
So another lovely bit of scaffolding scripting going on there from Rebecca, making sure that the apology was heard and taken in and just double checking whether it had been accepted. I mean, sometimes it's okay not to accept an apology and to have big feelings about what's just happened to you. So she opened up that space for that child to really say what they thought. And thankfully they were okay. Okay, let's look at the next kind of stage, if you like. We've covered 2 and 3 year olds, 3 and 4 year olds, and now we're looking at some children who are actually starting to express their own needs. And I find this really exciting when they start to be able to do this for themselves.
So, Harry, are you going to hold the cell all the time, or are you going to try and make it stand up by itself?
I'm gonna hold the cell because if the cell doesn't, I'm not. It's just pretending the brush is the cell.
Okay, okay.
Then let's get in.
So apologies that we didn't get the picture that went with that, did we? Let's have another look.
So, Harry,
But
are you going to hold the cell all the time, or are you going to try and make it stand up by itself?
I'm gonna hold the cell because if the cell doesn't, I'm not. It's just pretending the brush is the cell.
Okay, okay.
Then let's get in.
let's get in. Let's get on with it. Love it. So she's getting the child to express what he has in mind about this sail that he's using a brush for. The wonderful power of the imagination there. I love it. Right, let me come back out of there. Go back to patient. A little think about what we've just seen. Sorry, bear with me. So in the first 2 videos, we've got adults modelling and speaking for the children, haven't we, around this expression of needs. And in the 3rd video, we've got Becky, who's able to ask questions to draw out of the child exactly what it is that they want to do. So we've got these STEM sentences, as I call them, or scaffolded scripts, you might have heard them of, that help the children by reducing their cognitive load and building their confidence. If I think about those 3 examples that we've just looked at, would you say that they were universal, so applicable to all children regardless of their need? Which of the strategies would you say were targeted, so perhaps more around small group intervention or supporting a specific language skill? And then did you see any examples of really highly scaffolded interaction that possibly could be used as a specialist intervention for children who are really delayed and really struggling with their language? I just think it's useful to look at one particular skill and break it down, because we might have 4-year-olds who are expressing their needs at the level of a 2-year-old. So in which case we would want to give them that targeted and specialist input to be able to give them access to ordinarily available provision. I just want to quickly draw your attention to the vignettes that are also available on the evidence store. And here's a wonderful example of a child expressing their needs. So Flo is working with a child who really needs objects of reference to support them with their understanding. And then over time, this little one is able to select the objects of reference by themselves to express what they need. And I think that's a lovely example of a piece of targeted work that supports a child to access ordinarily available provision and express themselves. And another quick vignette to look at, because I think these are really fun, and these are the ones that really sort of bring home to me the different sort of takes on a piece of practice that I could go away and try for myself. So what do you think of this one? We've got Dewey, who's noticed a group of children arguing, and they've started to get physical as well, which is an indication that their language skills and their executive function isn't ready for sustaining positive relationships through the conflict. So Dewey uses the picture cards on his lanyard to support his communication. So he shows them a red hand sign that means stop. He takes them to sit on the carpet with him. So he's using that event potentially before the point of no return, that event horizon. And he's showing the children different emotion picture cards to help them to express how they're feeling. And once they've spent a bit of time on that, expressing how they're all feeling, he uses the whoops card, which I love that, to ask them all to think about what happened. And I'm assuming that these are children who are probably 3, 4, 5. Each child is given a turn to speak and a chance to express themselves before they then can work together to agree how to play safely. That's a wonderful example, isn't it, of naming for children or making it really proactive and explicit what cooperation looks like. It looks like taking a bit of time out from the activity to really explore what's happened, what's gone wrong, and how we can fix it. To have a little think. I'm sure you do this day in, day out, like me with your early years children. How are you already creating opportunities for children to need your help? And who are the helpers? Is it always us, or do we have some peers who actually, some children who are quite good at stepping in? So if you've got children who are good at kind of stepping in, it's really good to sort of hover in the moment and helicopter around that, but and name what's going on. Oh, Sophie, I've just spotted how you helped Theo and Josh to solve a little problem there because you took a moment, you thought very carefully, and then you used really good, clear language to help them. When we use that sort of metacognition for children, it really embeds the learning in their play, and they'll remember it better because they were actually in it and more involved. So finally, before I ask you for a little bit of feedback on this short and sweet session, what's one practice that you now realise you're already using to help children sustain their relationships? Because you're already doing way more than you think. If you're anything like me, it takes sort of stepping out of your practice and coming to a little bit of training like this to think, oh yeah, I'm actually doing okay. And I love this little meme. I'm big, I'm brave, I'm beautiful. I'm boo-booful is literally where I lost it. Someone get me tissues. So if we tell the children and teach the children and plant that language for them, it might come out a little bit cute, but they will take that in. We need to give them the language that they need to be able to succeed. Please let us know how you got on with this really short and sweet session. I hope you enjoyed it. Please do go to the evidence store for more information about this particular theme and this approach. We are still running a monthly prize draw. If you pop in your feedback and evaluations to us as a thank you to you for your reflection and your commitment to this relational practice, then we will pop your name in a hat, and once a month we pull 2 names out of the hat and we send a prize out to you. So thank you so much everyone for joining me today, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye.